Hello, I'm Emma from Orchis Floral Design. I work here in Hagler's Corner in beautiful Sheffield. Thanks for purchasing my wreath making kit. I just wanted to introduce myself and give you a few tips before you start making the kit and watch the video. First of all, it can get a bit messy, so maybe set yourself up somewhere that you can sweep up on a nice table. Most importantly, make yourself a brew. You want to sit down and enjoy this. When you play the video, just pause it at any time that you want to catch up. I would say make along with me is the best way. And when I've done my first instruction, watch it, pause it, do yours, and then press play again and watch me do it. I'd love it if you got in touch with me after you did your wreath and showed me how beautiful it is. So if you could get in touch through Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, it's Orchis Floral Design, with a picture of what you've made. And maybe a picture of your face too would be lovely, and I'll put them all in a gallery. Thank you for ordering my dried wreath flower kit. Inside your box you should have got something like this, and I'm going to take it out and I'm going to show you in this video how to make a beautiful dried wreath, very similar to this. So I'm going to take the things out of the box, and you'll have a mixture of dried materials similar to this, but in your comment box you should have requested a colour theme. If not, I've put you together what I think is a nice seasonal mixture, and inside you've got some paper coated wire and your actual wreath ring, which we don't need for this bit. The only additional thing you'll need for this workshop is a pair of scissors. Any scissors will do, just get the scissors out of the kitchen drawer, but you can't use a knife, so make sure you get some scissors. So the first step is we're going to bunch up all these dried flowers into tiny little bunches, all different types of varieties and colours. Basically, don't overthink it. I'm going to do a few for you so you can see what it looks like. So just choose what grabs your eye first. I'm going to have some nice teasel, and I'm going to chop it so it's about the size of my hand in length. Again, don't overthink it. And we're going to get roughly 5 different pieces of material in a bundle. And try and blend your colours, because at the end I don't want to see all one type of flower. So we're going to go for 5 different types. And this yellow colour is quite strong, so I'm going to put some of that in. And I'm going to grab them in my hand, just making a little bouquet really. Like so. And the main thing is that you can see everything. So you see here, this one's quite hidden. I'm just going to twizzle that round. Then when I've done it, I'm going to cut a bit of this wire off in your kit. Not much, just so much. And where you've held it, exactly where my thumb is, I'm going to wrap it round. And with paper coated wire, you don't want to tie it because it's not string, it's wire. So we're just going to give it a twist, and that will be enough to hold it like so. Then when you've done that, we're going to chop it off and leave yourself just over 1 inch of stem. I'm now going to cut all these into little bunches like so. Again, don't overthink it, just whatever you like to see. Stems that are like this, that are big floofy one, this is beautiful Pampers. We're going to make them into smaller, more manageable sizes. We don't really want a big chunky bit like that in. We can spread it through. And I'm mixing up my textures and my colours. Oops. So that's another little bunch, similar in size to this one. Again, you won't need much wire. As you go along, you'll find you'll use less and less. Give it a twist. and chop and place all these. Stems that are big and composite, like this one, just like the pampas, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to just take off a little chunk. Put something at the back. And tie. And we're going to do that until there's no flowers left. So you've probably made a bit of a mess like me, and you've got a series of little bunches. Towards the end, they were getting a bit mean, but that's fine. As long as you've got a certain amount of bunches all bunched up. Any little bits that are left over, just push to one side or put in the bin. But you'd be surprised what you can use, like even tiny bits like that. Start thinking like a florist. We like to keep everything out the bin. So, I'm going to move on to putting these onto your willow wreath ring, which came in the kit. This is woven willow, contorted willow, just soaked in a bath and then woven. I didn't put it straight in the kit because I thought this would be challenging enough for you, but you can willow weave as well. So we're going to put these little bunches onto this, and we're going to create a semi-crescent. So some of this wreath will be on show. So choose your favourite side of your wreath, the curly bit that you don't want to hide, and the bit that you do want to hide, so that's got a bit of a horrible end, so I'm going to start there. You're going to start fixing your little bunches onto your wreath. Now, it's going to go one direction to the middle, and then you're going to swap directions. So it's got a nice semi-crescent shape here. So what you need to do is you need to put your bunches into two piles. So count them. So there's 20 there, so that's easy maths for me. I'm not the best mathematical genius. So get 10 bunches and 10 bunches, and try and spread your colour roughly through. So each side has a nice-ish even distribution of colour. Again, don't overthink it because it's dried materials, not fresh. You can use them again. So you can put them on, take them off. This is only round one. So with your long paper coated wire, we're going to get one of your bunches and we're going to place it on there. Then we're going to get your wire, and again, not tying it, we're going to wrap it around one of the branches. And because it's brown, it looks very similar to the willow. So there's no need to really hide it that bad. And once it's on a long length, I'm going to place your bunch. And I'm going to bind it exactly where the tie is. Pull tight. And if you pull so tight that it snaps, that's a good thing. Just reattach your wire. The worst thing is to do it too loose. And I also want to wrap round twice. If you constantly keep wrapping your wire, it doesn't make it stronger. It actually makes it a bit weaker and looser. So it should only really need to go round once, twice. And when I'm attaching my flowers, I'm zigzagging them like so. So one went that way and one went that way. And again, I'm putting my wire just where the stems are. We don't want to put the wire across and over where you can hurt the top of the stems. And then think about where you'd like to put your colour as well as hiding this part of the stem. So the next position I put my little flower bundle is travelling down your wreath ring. And don't cut the wire, keep it on. So I'm zigzagging them round. And have a look at it every now and then. Think about where you're going to position it. If it's above a fireplace, you might want to go a bit heavier at the bottom because people are going to be looking up at it. And you might not need it as strongly coated in the middle. So I put 8 on there, and I'm going to save these 2 to hide the middle section, because now we're going to use our next bunches and they're going to be going the opposite direction. Now this way is a little bit trickier. Because you've got to move your flowers out of the way of the string. You see how I'm feeding it through? Whereas before you had a clear route. There we go. Essentially I'm doing exactly the same as I was before, except in the opposite direction. Thinking about your colour again. And making sure you pull tight. Like I said, if you pull so tight it snaps, that's not a bad thing. That's good. It means you're holding it nice and tight. You're just getting used to the tension. And if you do that, or if your wire gets really knotty, which I think mine is in a minute actually, I'll show you how to reattach. So I'm going to cut this here because it's all getting a bit knotty and I can't be bothered to untie it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to feed the wire in the back. And this is what you do if it's snapped as well. It's like sewing with wire. Just once is enough, to be honest, but you can feed it through twice if you can. This is a good test as well if you can do that, if you're doing well. Your bits aren't coming off. And now I can find my wire again. Now I can make it nice and straight for the next bunch. And if you find you're getting yourself in a bit of a tangle at any time, you can cut your wire off and start again. There we go. So I'm going to put this one on now. So I'm just lifting these flowers up. Don't be too gentle with them. They're dried materials, so they can cope. They can cope with a bit of handling. See, this is getting ridiculously long, so I'm going to cut this off here. Make life easy for yourself. Here we go. Popping that one on. So lifting the flowers up here. And then binding. So you're ideally trying to get quite a seamless looking strip of flowers going round. There's nice 2 pink ones left in the middle. So I've finished here. So just like before, I'm going to pull really tight because I don't want it all unwinding at this point. Wrap it round the stem. If there's another bit you can hold it onto. Can't wrap it around too many times. And then take a look at your design and see where there's gaps. There should be quite an obvious gap where you've changed direction, which I'm going to hide. With this one here. I'm just going to chop myself off a little bit this time because I'm only attaching one. It is just like sewing. Grab it on. And if you can poke it in, because it is a willow wreath, if you can poke it in and feed it through and not use any wire, and it doesn't come out, that's good too. This pink one. I think there's just a gap there, so I'm going to use that pink one there. That's what I mean. This is what I mean about being able to feed it through at this point. And a little bit of wire to attach it on. Now at this point, if you were not liking the way it was looking, I've put enough wire in there that you'll be able to snip it all off and start again with your bundles, so don't worry too much. If you're a really neat person, unlike me, you could lay it all on first, see how it looked, and then attach them on as you're going round. But I quite like to ad-lib my life, so I tend to do it as I go and then redo it if I don't like it. And then you want to just put your fingers through. You should be able to manipulate everything now, so it can all be in position. And don't forget, like I said, where you're going to place it. So if it's going to be looking up at it, then make sure you've got plenty of materials down here. Any bits that you think, if you gave it a shake, you think might fall off, now's the time to grab a little bit of wire and just pin it in. Like so. So when you've finished, you should have a nice wreath ring that you can put on your wall as a semi-crescent going that way or this way. I've also put some ribbon in for you to tie at the front so you can hang it off. Don't put it outside on your door if you haven't got a porch, because dried flowers will mould, but inside this is going to last forever. I hope you enjoyed making it. It's quite a relaxing craft to do. Any problems, then I'd really like it if you got in touch with me, and if you could send me some pictures on Instagram on Orchis Floral Design. I'd love to set up a gallery of what everybody's made. Thank you.